What is going on, everybody? We are back, and first things first, I'm in a new room because the basement I was recording in was super cold. So hopefully the audio is good and in a high quality, or at least good enough to listen to. I guess if it's not, you won't be seeing this. But anyways, today the deck we're playing is Control Warlock. This game comes from the second week of Qualifiers, so a match I played, and it does really well against Token Druid. I think it's almost an auto win against Token Druid. It also does well against Priest. But this list comes from a Japanese player whose name I'm sorry, I don't know. But it got second in Qualifiers the first week. And I brought it because I assumed the Token Druid would be pretty high. You'd see a lot, basically. And it did what it was supposed to do against Token Druid. So guys, that's the game we're going to see. It's going to be a voiceover. So guys, enjoy. If you want to stay in for more competitive content, I am releasing Getting Competitive Hearthstone every Tuesday. And yeah, so guys, thank you for watching. And remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Take it easy. Alright, so guys, this video will be, because it's only one game, it will be in normal speed. So guys, the idea with this deck is that you just run so much removal that Token Druid, and hopefully other aggro decks, mostly Token Druid, can't stick. The reason why this is so good against Token Druid specifically is because they don't have bursts from hand. They don't run cards like Eviscerate, Sinister Strike. They don't set up weapons, and they don't just continually flood the board with minions that can't be removed by spells that do more than 3 damage. So it also runs Quest. It tops out a Cthulhu. It also runs Tickatus for priests and warriors. So obviously on turn 1 we play the Quest. This was a really fun game. I am enjoying Qualifiers. We'll talk about it a bit more, but I was a little lack some confidence going into this week, and I think that kind of hurt me. But we'll talk about it in next week's episode. For now, we're going to place against some Token Druid and just show you how this deck destroys Token Druid. So turn 1, they're going to go off with Gibberling. They're going to Adorable Infestation. They were not on coin, so they can't do more than that, I believe, unless they have an Innervate. And honestly, that board is not that scary. We don't need to coin out the Dark Skies. We can just tap to get our hand a little bigger. So Dark Skies will do more next turn. I get to play a Dreamway Guardians. I am kind of counting here. Right now with 4, our hand will be at 8. So if they play Dreamway Guardians, it actually won't be a board clear. So we just need to make sure they don't buff or summon 4 more points worth of stats. But Dark Skies should be a clear here. If it's not, we do have a coin Hellfire. Hellfire is really good because it clears Arbor up boards. It's phenomenal. But Nature Studies. Now, the thing with Nature Studies, I talked about this in the Token Druid video. If you play Nature Studies as the last spell, it lets you discount your Glowfly Swarm or Arbor up for the next turn, which is really good. Unfortunately, I think my opponent plays a spell here, so they can't do that. Yep, they're going to Ironbark. So Ironbark will leave up a Gibberling, but it will leave up, with Dark Skies or Hellfire, which is, honestly, it's fine. It's not a big deal. We are going to Dark Skies here and take most stuff off of the board. Yep, the main thing there is that we got rid of the Spell Burst Gibberling, which is good. So on turn 4, they're going to play out a Lightning Bloom, which luckily will not summon any more Gibberlings. And I believe this is Arbor Up. Yep, an Arbor Up will just get cleared by Hellfire. They are hit us in the face a little bit, like we're at 18. Hellfire is going to set us to 15. Honestly, because Token Druid doesn't run any kind of burst from hand, it's not that scary. The only thing that they can really do is Savage Roar, and then Solar Eclipse into another Savage Roar. Ideally that doesn't happen, but it's kind of unlikely that that will happen. Still hit us for 1 with their hero power. They taking the turn off for us is really good. We get to play our Luckysoul Hoarder to draw a card, and also shuffle more fragments into the deck. And Soul Shear is really good for spot removal, and we can play the Spirit Jailer here so that we can shuffle more frags in the deck. Frags are really good with the quest because when you draw them, not only do you heal, but you draw another card. It's just really good for completing the quest. So they're going to Nature Studies again. That's their second Nature Studies. Thank God Nature Studies can no longer discover itself. But it can discover something like Glowfly Swarm or another Arbor Up, which is something we don't really want to see. But we do have several removal spells in our hand. We have School Spirits, we have the Eye of Cthulhu, and we have minions that can trade to make any kind of buffs more manageable, which is also very important. But this is kind of why this deck is good against Token Druid. Like, if you can take care of one of their things, like we just took care of one of their Arbor Ups, it's really hard for them to come back and continually put pressure on. But they are going to do it with Runic Carvings. They're going to give it Rush also, which is fine. But they're not going to... They're going to leave the minions on board. And this is what I was talking about with the Soul Fragments. Healing and drawing is awesome. We don't need to use the Hearts of Cthulhu, though I do think about it. We can just clear very easily with School Spirits and save the Heart of Cthulhu for another wide board. We can also use that Hellfire too, but School Spirits will just clear up this board, and we'll shuffle more Soul Fragments in the deck, so that's great. More Soul Fragments, the better. But that's like one thing you do have to think about against these decks is we don't need to use our deal 3 yet because they're not gonna do more than the School Spirits is. So use your board clears effectively. This deck also runs Fire Breather, which is another deal 2. This deck is designed to hard counter Token Druid. So like I said in the intro, if you are running into a lot of Token Druids, play this. It's really, really good. So it looks like they are just going to be drawing cards, which is good for us. There's no pressure. We can take a value trade or we can Soul Shear this. Soul Shear is probably the better play because they don't really have means of... We really want to remove their board, not single targets is what I'm trying to say. And we'll draw again. Hysterias are fine. They're not the best thing for us, but I think we do use Hysteria pretty well eventually. There is one thing I'm thinking about in the back of my head while we're playing through these turns. If he does get me down low enough, like if I tap too much, or if I Hellfire and I get down too low, he can Solar Eclipse, Savage Roar, and deal 6, 7. If he does it both that twice, it's a total of 9, which won't happen very often, but it could, so it's just something to be aware of. I don't think you really care too much about those things happening, just because it's pretty unlikely. They want to use their Solar Eclipses like this, which would be to Arbor Up and summon more minions. And I believe this is an Arbor Up. Oh, no, it's not. It looks like they're either going to... Okay, they're going to summon Eagles instead. Still fine. We have Hysteria. We have board clears. And they're going to... Yep, so this will be a board clear just because they've gone wide. And then they are blooming into, I believe... Okay, the Treants. So this is a bit weird because... Actually, it's not that weird because we can just Hellfire and then Heart of Cthulhu and be fine. It's not really a big deal. So we go face for 3 first, like always. Keeping the coin. We don't really keep the coin for this turn, but having the coin allows us to do this pretty seamlessly. The other option there was probably trade Hellfire and then Hysteria, leaving 1 on the board. It's not the best way to do that, but it is a way to do that. But again, we just want their stuff off board so they can't Savage Roar us down. We're at 11 health, and we're just sitting pretty. Like, there's not much we're really too worried about here. We're just removing their threats as they come, and eventually just running them out of resources. There's the second Arbor Up. They don't have any more nature studies, so we're not worried about it. And now we can use a Hysteria. We don't need to use a Twisting Nether. Hysteria will clear this just fine. And we're good Hearthstone players, so remember to tap first, and then we can Hysteria. Then we'll play our Spirit Jailer. Honestly, we probably should have played the Spirit Jailer first, so we could shuffle frags into our deck to try and draw those and heal a little bit and draw more cards to complete the quest. But I think that is something to think of in the future, but in this game it doesn't matter. So they're going to draw more cards with the Eagle. I think they're looking for a Glowfly Swarm. But at this point, we're sitting pretty well. They're kind of out of resources at this point. We don't have a ton of board clears, but we have a Twisting Nether, which will corrupt our Cascading Disaster and our Tickatus. We also have Eye of Cthulhu, which will corrupt our Cascading Disaster. And no, I don't think that this Cascading Disaster is not corrupted yet. But again, Hysteria clears this, and we really just kept the pressure off. But we're not going to use Hysteria. We're going to use a better card. We're going to use Soulciologist Malicia. We could have traded off the Jailer there, but it really just doesn't matter. Pushing one is probably just a little better than filling the board a little wider. But at this point, they can't take care of this board because their minions don't have Rush, so they're going to concede here in this turn once they realize it. And I think they're just about out of draw. They have Fungal Fortunes, but I don't think it'll matter. They can concede. So guys, thanks for watching.